All right. Hello, welcome everyone. Today I would like to speak to you in regards to navigating the not pending, in a way pending, but absolutely imminent extraterrestrial disclosure, which has already begun. So we've had soft disclosure going for quite some time through the movies, through media in different ways, people coming out talking about their experiences, etc. So that's already begun. Now what we're doing is we're shifting into hard disclosure. There's been a lot of movement in the background and in the public domain via the Pentagon, for example. They've been releasing a lot of information, videos, and what they're releasing is a particular version of disclosure. What we actually have is different groups which are fighting out for control of the disclosure narrative, different factions. And so what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about that today, and also a little bit about the bigger picture around the disclosure process, because a lot of folks feel that when they're inside of a narrative and you look around in that ecosystem, and a lot of people end up getting caught in that space and think that that is all there is. So expanding our awareness and getting to a point, right, that we're going to be able to come from what I consider natural relationships. So natural relationship with our inner beingness, natural relationship with our mother planet, and that's how we connect to her, is from within us and in that heart-soul connection, because we do have that beautiful soul agreement with Mother Earth, this beautiful planetary being, to be incarnated upon her beautiful body, which is quite a big deal, universally speaking. So I'm just going to take on a bit of a journey for now. Okay, so what we're looking at here is it's time for us as a humanity to get out of our intellectual evolution, because we've been in an intellectual evolution, which overall we've been in a devolutionary process. So getting stuck in an intellectual evolutionary path overall creates an imbalance, and when we are stuck in, we end up heading into devolution. And our ideological spirituality, there's so much of that going around. And get back to our natural and authentic universal journey of creativity and adventure. So our challenge as a humanity is, whilst our values, virtues and sense of self-worth are being systematically diminished, and we're seeing that, the proof is all around us, it's everywhere for everyone to see and experience, we simultaneously need to get back to the reality of how significant and powerful we truly are. So what a beautiful paradox is life, and what is being kept from our humanity, the truth of who we are, is absolutely astounding. And I mean literally astounding. It's horrendous. So who we are, the essence of who we are as a species, as a race, in other words, the purpose and the intention for humanity to have been created in the first place, and a planetary ecosystem which has more biodiversity than any other planetary system in the universe. And that is what needs to be brought into question. Why? Why is that the way it is? So when we're looking at ET disclosure, a lot of people's minds go to this kind of imagery. Okay? And is there a truth to that? Yes, there is an absolute truth to that. I'm coming from a place of first-hand direct experience. I speak to you from a place where I've been going in craft since I was about 6 years old. I can't count, I lost count, hundreds into the thousands of experiences. I just don't know anymore, it's all like a blur. But what is, and I do have very distinct, clear recall on certain experiences. So I just wanted a little bit of a background so you know where I'm coming from when I speak with you. I don't read books. I write them, I wrote that one, but I don't read them, okay? I'm more audio-visual, experiential type of taking in information. For me to sit down and read a book, I really struggle with that. Probably read about 10 books my whole life. So another narrative of extraterrestrial disclosure is this one. So we're looking at a group of Nordic beings that are currently in contact with the military-industrial complex, have been for a very long time. So I really just want to get past the notion that we're only just coming into contact now, because from the time of the inception of Earth to this moment, Earth has never not been in contact with extraterrestrial and interdimensional life. Never not been. Okay? What is happening is the public are being held in a bubble of general consensus, which is a manufactured status quo, purposefully and intentfully manufactured. Okay? So these beings are a reality. This is going on as well, and that's another narrative. Okay? So each narrative will have a particular dialogue with you, and depending on the calling of your soul, it'll depend on which one really speaks to you, which one really pulls you, and what direction you need to go in. I'm not here to tell you what to do. You're the arbiter, you're the prime creator of your own experiences, so make sure that you stand true to your integrity and be the guardian of your own soul, regardless of where it takes you. Because intelligence, right, is not because you think you know everything without questioning, and I certainly don't know everything, but rather because you question everything you think you know. And we really, really need to start doing that. If we're going to get clear about what's going on and what's coming, I mean, the last 2 years have been really good proof of the way narratives are controlled and manipulated, disseminated, and in fact, imposed. Like the trauma-based mind control that came from the media into family homes, into children's minds of what's been happening of late, has been absolutely horrendous. And that's not a theory, that's a fact, and we saw it every day, wall-to-wall COVID, nothing else, right? That's full-blown trauma-based mind control. And you think that was powerful? You wait till disclosure goes public and see what they're going to do. So this is about me giving you a heads up so you can prepare yourselves. Because we truly are in the age of disinformation. Truly we are. And the real truth, if you want to get to the real truth of life, the real truth of what is real and what is an illusion or a deception or a delusion, what's real is inside of you. Each and every one of you, you have it within you, deep inside you. It's just whether you're willing to turn inside out. So we have been in this censorship process for a long time. So this is, when I was growing up a few years back, it was more of these slots. So I updated it and just brought it up to date a little bit more. And then you got your Facebooks, your Googles, your YouTubes and your Twitters, for example, right? And we're seeing that happening. The fact of this truth is all around you for you to see. No conspiracy theory whatsoever. Okay, so now, this is the structure that we're dealing with. When we're receiving information from the mass media, you need to understand the actual structure of it. And I feel that this image helps you to see the way the media is actually truly structured. Not a conspiracy theory, fact of reality. And their goal is to achieve this. That is the goal of the mass media right now, not to inform you, to empower you, but to make sure that they mould your mind in a particular way that's going to take you towards fulfilling their agenda. When you come to terms with that is actually happening to you, and it is, it's happening to me, it's happening to you, it's happening to us all, right? The moment you come to terms with that reality, that's when you can start making a change internally. Right? And then, after we make a change internally, that's when we start making a change in our outer world. Our inner world's got to change first before our outer world can change. Because our outer world is a reflection of our inner world. So most people are walking around, you go to a shopping mall and you look at people. You look into their eyes, you look at their energetic field, you look at how they're expressing themselves, where they're at. And this is where the majority of the population is at. They're caught inside an invisible bubble they cannot really see the boundaries of. They're in so much pain, there's so much frustration, insecurity, it's so much fear going on. Why? Because again, the mainstream media is propagating all of this by the way they're disseminating information. It's really straightforward and simple. And so lately we've seen really good evidence in the last couple of years of mass formation psychosis. And then you've got the mainstream that will come out and say, that doesn't exist, that's just a lie, that's just some sort of conspiracy theory. Well, let me give you, from past history, Exhibit A for factual proof and evidence of mass formation psychosis. There you go. There's the absolute proof. It's been happening time and time again, from the Roman Empire, even before that, to modern day. Mass formation psychosis is a very powerful tool that is actually used by the ones that want to remain in power and subjugate the rest of humanity. So, again, mass formation psychosis, and that's me. Not buying into it. Accept for what it is. Don't care what anyone tells me. I can see with clarity, especially because of the path that I've walked and the experiences that I've had, and I can see through all the lies and all the deception. Right? Sniff it out in an instant. To the point when the whole COVID thing broke out, I was in the US, I was going to speak at two big conferences over there, Architects of the New Paradigm and Human Origins in Albuquerque. And I wasn't able to attend those conferences. So what I did is I held an online webinar. We had 500 people turn up on that one. And I laid it out back in March 2020, and I talked about all the nanotechnology and injections. I called it Navigating the Crown Virus, because it's really about the divine right of rule over humanity and this planet. That's what the background war is about. And so in dealing with the media, I can't recommend highly enough, I just cannot recommend highly enough to unplug from mainstream media and find alternative sources of information, because that is what saved my mind. Unplugging from it, just stepping back from it and just going, okay, I'm going to get information from other places, and it really helped me turn within. That's what this outer world is really forcing us to do, is to go within ourselves to retrieve the knowledge and the wisdom of life from within. So now, getting past the notion that we're all alone in the universe, we're going to take a bit of a journey now out of that whole drama, in the geopolitical drama, and now we're going to go a little bit further out. So these lights that you see in World War II were commonly known as the Foo Fighters. Wonder where the band got the name from? That's where they got their name from. They were the Foo Fighters, and they were later technologies too from these ones. So these ones are the earlier test technologies of anti-gravity craft that the military, mostly in Germany, were developing way in advance of the US and Allied forces. Big cigar shapes, there's some Pleiadian factions that use these types of craft, some Arcturians, some Orion. Syrians don't tend to use the cylindrical ones. Here's another one, another test run in Germany. These are actual photos, nothing's been doctored, nothing's CGI. Another actual photo from, and they were called the Bell technology, so they were bringing out this style with the bell-shaped craft as well in World War II. And the Allied forces got smashed. The Allied forces lost the Second World War. You got told that we won the war. They lost the war, right? And the Third Reich moved over to the US through Project Paperclip, became the Fourth Reich. Then they created the Deep State, became the Fifth Reich. Then they created the Secret Space Program, became the Sixth Reich, which I was a part of. So here's another one, straight out the window of a plane, not a doctored image, an actual photo. Again, these images that I'm showing you now came out of the KGB. I can't vouch for their authenticity, but no movie's ever been made with these on a set. They don't belong to anything, and everyone who's investigated these images can't prove that they're false. Okay? But I can't tell you that they're real either. So you can feel the energy of them and make your own mind up. But given after the photos I've just shown you, the plausibility of these being real is there. Okay, so what happened was the majority of the Nazis moved to South America. The Falklands War was about the development of nanotechnology known as black goo. That was what that war was about. And then they moved to Antarctica as well. So that's why you get a lot of world leaders going to Antarctica at the moment, constantly afloat. And when General Byrd went to Antarctica with the biggest Allied force ever, aircraft carriers, battleships, warships, like it was a massive armada. He lasted less than a week, and he came back. They lost half the fleet and came back with the tail between their legs, because this technology absolutely smashed the Allied forces out of the sky. And if you start looking into the Brillen and the Vril societies, the Chula Society, Adolf Hitler was groomed by the Chula Society. Dietrich Eckart personally groomed Hitler from a young age to fulfill that role. So we're talking occults, we're talking about occults with extraterrestrial contacts, interdimensional contacts. Because when you go into a secret society, that's what goes on. You go into a secret society, they give you knowledge, and then behind the back doors, they hold rituals and connect to interdimensional and extraterrestrial beings. So there's a strong, with what I call the synthetic Nordics, not the natural Nordics, which are beautiful beings, there's synthetic Nordics, which are artificially manufactured avatar bodies by the Dracos. This is more of a reptilian, not so much Draco, but kind of in between. And they're really strongly in contact with a lot of the military-industrial complex. This is more of an aquatic being, so I'm helping your awareness just to expand a little bit, to start to see different physiological characteristics of different kinds of beings, interdimensional and extraterrestrial. And some of the stargates going on, because the truth of the matter is, when they created the secret space program back in, started really in about the 50s, they got really serious with it. There's what's called the breakaway civilization that's already left our plane of existence. They've already gone interstellar. Secret space program already gone interstellar. I served in it. I didn't serve in it via the military. I didn't sign any contracts. My work in the secret space program was organised prior to incarnation. Okay? So that was the agreements, and then they would come and pick me up, and then I'd go off, and sometimes they transfer my consciousness into an avatar body, and then I'd go on a mission and come back. Sometimes I would go in this body, I would go off on missions, sometimes 1, 2, 3 years, come back, time regress me on a quantum field, and then restructure me on a quantum level. And so then I'd come back and I'd be missing only 2 hours of time, but I was actually gone in real time for a year or 2 years. Some people go 20 and back. I didn't do it 20 and back. And this is also for you to just have a bit of a look at some of the types of structures of the more technological based societies out there. So when they follow technology, this is the kind of realm that you get. Now there's different experiences people are having with all different kinds of things. There's not just, it's just the Greys or just the Nordics, or no, there's thousands. Like even in the Greys, you're talking about 6 foundational Grey structures of embodiment, and then thousands of derivatives of each one of those 6. So let's say for the Greys, for example, which were famously known in, let's say, Close Encounters of the Third Kind and things like that, and a lot of the abductions. So you've got your original Greys, which are the humans that have branched off from our timeline, the breakaway civilization, and 1 million years into the future, and have looped back in time to say this is where it all went wrong for us, because they chose the path of technology. They prioritised that. So the body, what happens is all the body parts atrophy and only the cranium grows, because that's the muscle. The intellect is the primary and paramount muscle for them when they choose technology. Then you've got your botanical Greys. They're really smelly because they excrete their way through their skin. You've got the reptilian Greys, you've got insect Greys, and you've got automaton Greys, like android ones. So there's another form of a stargate. You'll be surprised how many natural stargates are all around our planet. And I just want to, right now, acknowledge every woman, all of you women, right now. Because inside each and every one of you is a stargate. You bring beings from other dimensions of reality through your stargate into this world. And it's really a beautiful reminder of what's actually you're walking around in. Because this is not a man's world, this is a woman's world. And you have that power and you have that authority. We don't. Okay? So acknowledgement to women. This is a woman planet we are incarnate upon. This is a woman's world. The superficial structures that you see, that's the man's world. Yep. So there's lots of worlds out there which are very beautiful and very natural. Some of them, like in the Pleiades, they've got worlds where you've got like a doorway like a hobbit's home, for example. Yeah? And you use frequency to build your home. And then your next door neighbour can have a door right next to yours, but you can have a giant mansion, you can have waterfalls, you can have whatever you want. You can have that behind your door. Doesn't matter, but the frequencies are out of phase with each other so they don't overlap. And then there's minimal damage to the environment. Let's contemplate that for a moment. Like, you know, think of it as holograms if you want, in different frequencies. So they can overlap, but they don't bump into each other. So you can go about creating whatever kind of reality you wish to live in, whatever ecosystem. This is what we are capable of. I'm trying to get you out of that mechanised mindset that we've all been programmed with and get into the creative flow of life. So in the exopolitical arena, we're dealing with different groups of ETs, and it's going to come flooding really soon. We're right on the precipice of this just pouring into the public domain. There's so much work. And so many thousands of different people and beings are working hard behind the scenes to try and manage this as best as possible. And then we've got factions. You've got the Pentagon faction, you've got the Vatican faction. They all want to control the narrative. They all want to control disclosure, right? And the truth of the matter is, we are all extraterrestrial. We all come from away from the Earth to come to this Earth to have an incarnation, okay? So once you begin to remember the way things are, then it'll be a whole lot easier. So there's all sorts of different kinds of beings that you experience when you start to travel beyond this realm. And this is another example of different kinds of beings. And they can actually express themselves from their source of energy, and you can create form, you can create structures. What we are capable of is so incredible, and that's why that great secret is being kept from us all, because the subjugators, the controllers, live in so much fear. That's why when 9/11 happened, what was the word they were putting out through the media? Wall to wall, mind control. Terror, terror, terror. It was wall to wall through the media. Why? Because they're trying to infect us with their fear. So this is my online community, smart device community. I don't know. Sandra, do you know what's going on? What did you do? It'll go away, it just pops up, doesn't it? No worries. A lot of energy bouncing around. So, we are turning inside out. The light that is within us, like I'm going to drop a big secret for you now. Solomon's Temple. Do you know what Solomon's Temple is? A lot of people think it's that structure in the Middle East, bricks and mortar. No, that's for the people who don't actually quite get it. Solomon, the Son of Man, it is inside you. This is the temple that houses your soul star essence, the sun within you, the light within you. I've just given you the deep, occult, hidden secret of what Solomon's Temple truly is. And Solomon's Mines is when you go within and you go adventuring into your beingness, and there you will find wealth beyond measure. And I'm not talking about jewels and money. Untold wealth, untold riches reside within each and every one of you. So what the process that we are in our evolution now is we are turning inside out. So getting to know ourselves. As we go in, we're getting to know ourselves again. When we stop externalizing, giving our power away to gods, entities, bringing light in from outside of us, etc., that is all part of the distraction. As you go from the global matrix reality and then you start to experience the cosmic matrix of imperial forces creating spiritual narratives to ensnare and capture planetary systems and populations. Okay? So getting to know ourselves, and I mean truly know ourselves again, is a challenging and exhilarating and astonishing reunion. When you, I'm not going to say fall, but when you settle back into love with your own soul, that is an astonishing reunion. Because when I connect to Mother Earth through my heart soul essence, that love, that unconditional love that I have with my mother planet, anything I want to know about this world, all the information is in that love. I don't access an Akashic field through the pineal gland, for example, because that's all imperial narrative. Sorry to blow that bubble. I really don't mean no disrespect. Acknowledging the programs that are designed to prevent us from achieving this is challenging, and at times it's even painful. See? Moving through these programs is a genuinely liberating experience. All of my belief systems smashed. All of them. I had to move through the pain of letting go of every single one of them. And I tell you the honest perspective from my experience, the subjugation and the deception in this world goes all the way. All the way. You think of the biggest narrative there is on this planet to do with life, that's a deception as well. I'm not going to go into the detail of that, but that is what I do in my work, is to expose the lies and the deception and bring people back home to the natural way of love and the natural way of life. See, what happens is then we emerge more aware of our multidimensional nature, and we do it with clarity, so we may respectfully and responsibly create and forge a new path. You can't play in an arena and try and fix the problems in that arena to battle. It's like people taking on the current cabal of Earth, right? It's like stepping into the ring with Muhammad Ali and thinking you're going to outbox the guy. It ain't going to happen. It's their game. They're the pros, right? They've rigged it, the whole thing. The only way out for us is to create the new. We need to stand true and create the new. They're pulling you into their arena and they've got you. Don't buy into their game. Who made a cup of tea today? Right, create a being. Who created a meal today? You're a creative being. We inherently, naturally are creative beings. By our very nature, we are creative beings. I'm not talking gods, I'm talking natural creative beings. Right? And that is what's been forgotten. That is what they don't want you to know at all. Because even with our intention, and I've done this myself, I've seen others do it, you can put holes in the clouds, you can bring rain in, you can alter reality. Back in the ancient times, the king and the queen were the stewards of not only the people, but the realm. And if the king started getting sick, then there would be pestilence and decay in the ecosystem and the environment because there was no separation. So looking after the environment was as important as looking after the people. Right? So genuine reality management can only occur from a place of conscious relationship with reality itself. Otherwise, you're just imposing from an egotistical point of view your ideals, your ideologies. So when you're in natural relationship with reality, meaning Mother Earth, for example, then she's got this beautiful natural unfoldment and evolution. Think of it as a big river unfolding through time and space. So I want to flow with that river. A lot of people call it being in the flow. Being in the flow is conscious relationship with your mother planet, conscious relationship with reality itself, and conscious relationship with everyone and everything within that reality. And the genuine true nature of reality is founded in the unified field originating from the heart of our existence. The heart of our existence. You want to connect to the unified field, which Einstein discovered and then was totally castigated for? You connect to it from within your own being, not through a pineal gland in the head, no, not through that, because that's in the realm of the mind. Heart, soul, essence. This is my third eye. My heart, soul, essence is my third eye. I get all information in the unified field of unconditional love with all life. If we attempt to create a new paradigm from a mind and consciousness steeped in cultural and societal narratives and ideological programs, how's that been working out for us so far, that are responsible for our old and current world issues, then we are condemned and destined to repeat the same. Ecosystem. Physical and metaphysical. This is the importance of it. If we are to create a new reality moving forward, then we need to be aware of what ecosystem our creative process is entering into. Quick analogy, quick example. I did a talk in Brisbane, Block Consciousness Conference in 2018. Everyone was into the big crypto hype back then. And I turned up and I said, guys, can we just, reality check. My talk was a reality check, like a counterbalance to what was going on, all the hype and the fever. And I said, okay, your coin that you want us to buy or you like or you recommend, where does that live? What's its ecosystem? And they're like, well, let's say it's Ethereum. Okay, so it's coin off the Ethereum platform. Okay, so that's the ecosystem for that coin. So what is the ecosystem of Ethereum? Well, it's the blockchain, like Bitcoin. Okay, that's cool. Fair enough. Decentralized blockchain. Right, and they believe it's not a backdoor. Anyway, so what is the ecosystem of the blockchain? Well, it's the internet. Okay, all right. So we're getting there, but we're talking about people who have invested their lives into this. They're going nuts over this, fanaticism over it. It's like a fever, like gold fever, right? I said, where's the ecosystem of the internet? Well, it's a bunch of servers sitting in an Amazon warehouse that Jeff Bezos owns. 70% of the internet resides in his servers. So everything you're creating and you think you're creating is in those boxes in that warehouse. Reality check. Please try not to get caught up in the fantasy world that gets sold to you. Right? So that's just a quick analogy to give you an example of what I'm referring to. So we're nearly at the end now. If there's time for questions, I love to take questions. The truth of the matter is, we are natural, sovereign, infinite beings. Your beingness, not talking about your persona of your incarnation. I'm talking the you inside, deep inside. Infinite. That means you've never been created. And that poses a whole lot of other questions now, doesn't it? Once all the control systems and distortion fields are dismantled, dissolved, and transcended, we express what we naturally are, humane, universal beings. And beyond this universe, we're infinite. And we know exactly what needs doing. See, you don't have to fight for peace, and you don't even have to peace for peace. Peace is an automatic byproduct when one heart soul connects with another heart soul, and in that field of unity, the relationship of full knowing, of empathy, feeling one another, knowing one another through and through is naturally there. And peace is an automatic byproduct of that. And that's why there are so many programs to divide us in this world. One program of division after another. Don't let them divide us. Have your differences of opinion, respect one another, but don't let them divide us, please. We're at the crossroads. The next step, this is a Georgism, the next step in human evolution is an inside-out without realization. So my recommendation is, yes, currently there's lots of you still bring the light in. I stopped doing that years ago, and it's been incredible. I turned inside out. Imagine yourself as a fountain, turning inside out, because that's how you come to be in the space-time location you occupy. So bringing light in from outside, from whether it's, you call it universal or another entity, doesn't matter what it is, that's externalization. And as we've been externalizing through these millennia, where have we ended up? And we've lost that inside out process. So come back home to being a fountain and turn inside out. That's my recommendation. And here we are. I love this image. I've used it for decades. There you have the beautiful yoni right there, and the birthing of a new expression of life and turning inside out from within. This image says so much. This is the womb of our planetary mother. The forgotten woman who does so much for us, who sacrifices more than any other being in the universe. That you didn't know that, or maybe you've forgotten. All right, that's the end of it. Thank you. Oh, hang on. Yep, that was the end. So I'm happy to take questions now. My website, which I forgot to put, there is ourjourneyhome.earth. I'll write that up here, folks. This is the planet we've come to reintegrate ourselves into a unity. And the bodies that we occupy, this avatar, is the most powerful avatar vessel in the universe. And this is the truth that has been kept from us as a humanity. This is not an ego trip. Every single one of your cells is a galactic realm. Every molecule is a nebula. Every atom is a star system. We are walking universes, and that is the true structure of our humanity and our realm. This planet is a fractal of the entire cosmic domain, the multiverse, all condensed into one planetary realm. That's why the density is so thick here. It's because of compression into unity, integrating into unity. The cosmopolitical lie is that you're at the bottom of the universe and you need to raise your vibration. No, this is a process of integration into unity. Beware the distractive narratives, and destructive. That's my big bomb I want to let go of today and smash a few paradigms here, okay? And I tend to do that everywhere I go, because that's why I wear a sword on my arm. Because the sword, throughout the ages, whether it's Excalibur, whether it's the crucifix, the hidden code of the crucifix is the sword. The crucifix on the mound is Excalibur, the sword in the stone, and that's the hidden code. If you understand the heart of the Christos within each one of us, and the heart of Christos is both masculine and feminine, not exclusively masculine. We're being lied to every day, all day, every day, in every aspect of our lives, and that is the absolute truth of reality. And I hope in time to come... Does that include you? That includes me. Don't believe a word I tell you. From my heart to yours, don't believe a word I tell you. Know for yourselves. Yep. And that's how it is from all my work. And I say to people, don't put me on a pedestal. I will disappoint you, because I have faults, I have shortcomings, and I'm working through it just like everybody else is here. Yeah. It's just that I've walked the path and I've experienced a lot more than most. And dealing with different extraterrestrial groups, interdimensional groups, and we're working really hard behind the scenes to find diplomatic solutions, because like the cabal has to be removed from this realm, because if they don't, they're going to die. So we're doing our best to help them out as much as we can in the exopolitical space to make sure that they're relocated to an appropriate reality where they can continue their games that they want to play. So I'm not here to eliminate anyone in the way of death. Yeah, that process. We're here to actually find a very peaceful solution to the current situation on Earth. And that's, I've incarnated into this world. My incarnation is inside the process, and my galactic self is working outside the process. And I change between the two. And I adventure into that part of me, and I get to see what that part of me is doing and live and experience it. And then I come back in, and I get to be George. And live the same process that all of you are living. And you'll be surprised how many of you are actually structured that way. Yep. Everyone needs to hear your question.
What process do you go to when you said that you were doing like 15 minutes or something, but it was like 2 years?
Yep.
What process do you do to get into that space to go out wherever you go?
Yep. I don't do any process. It's all, I'm in the flow state with my being, it all just happens. So I don't will it on from my ego. I still do have a say in my life. I decide what to eat, I decide where I'm going to go, I decide these things, but it's a symbiotic relationship with the unfoldment of reality, and therefore the unfoldment of my time. So I think of our individual timelines like a little creek or a little river, and then you've got the planetary realm unfolding with the soul of humanity as a whole, right? These two beings are having a really dynamic relationship right now. And we've all incarnated into that space with these two beings having this really dynamic relationship. So how is your river of life unfolding or flowing with a much greater river of life that's flowing and unfolding? So how's your time? Because when you fight against the current in a river, what happens? Doesn't end well, does it? So yeah, all my experience just happened, never willed a single one on. So it was all part of my soul structure inherently before incarnation. Any more questions? Yes. Hang on, we'll get the microphone to you so everyone can hear your question.
Just a program like, this is a physical thing that takes my head. Idea of
So the gentleman asked, what does a program look like? Great question. So the programs they come into our field of consciousness, okay? And they're connected to our wounds, our subconsciousness, and then our wounds. And wounds inherited not only from this life, but also from previous lives, not only in this world, but also our cosmic lineage, because of the fractal nature of things. Yeah? So our galaxy is a fractal of the cosmos. Our solar system is a fractal of the galaxy. Our planet is a fractal of the solar system, and our human construct is a fractal of the planet. So therefore, we are a universal fractal. So the programs turn up in our mind space as thought loops, repeat patterns, unconscious patterns. You find yourself behaving in ways and you pull yourself up a bit later on and you go, why did I do that? I didn't want to do that. Where'd that come from? Or you can sit there and become aware. So becoming aware of your awareness is the key. Yeah? So you go deeper inside of yourself so you can actually observe your mind from beyond the mind, rather than just being trapped in the mind. So you want to make sure that you are, because if you don't take control of your mind, someone else or something else will. And that's a matter of fact of reality. Okay? It's your mind, it's your consciousness field. Make sure that you are the one who is tending to your mind garden. Please. And when, here's the trick. This body is the most powerful crucible of alchemy in the universe. Complete fractal. So we are the sum total of everything we've seen, done and been in this universe. So when we actually address a wound, let's say you had an argument or you got triggered by someone. Let's keep it a simple one. You get triggered. So you've got this wound, you got triggered. Oh, why am I so angry? What? You're observing your nervous system firing up, your emotions are flowing, and why? Why did that happen? So when you start to look into what they said and how you reacted, and what I call responding with ability, it was a reaction. So what we need to do is get creative with it. So we need to take what we see, so you take the C in the word reaction, and you put it to the front, because you really got to look at what you see properly and not ignore what you see or hide it further down the back somewhere and get all reactive about life. So we get then the word creation, so we've got to get creative with it. So we actually end up looking in our wounds. That's the key. So you come up against a wall of pain guarding a wound every time. And that wall of pain, you either bounce off it, or no, I ain't going there, which is what most people do most of the time, or you have the courage to face yourself and you move through the pain. Once you move through the pain, then you can go into the wound space, and then you can look at all that needs attending to and what needs changing within your own self. Does that help? Yeah. Facing ourselves, truly facing ourselves, is the hardest thing to do in life. It's the most difficult thing to do. That's why so few people in the world are willing to look at themselves properly. I have faults, I have issues, my energy can be belligerent, I don't want it to be, I honestly don't. It's just, there's a power to me which I'm still trying to get a handle on. I'm doing my best, and I always operate with love, honour and respect, always. And sometimes unconsciously though, my energy can be a bit belligerent, and I don't mean it to be, but I'm looking at that. My good friends have brought it to my attention. And this is what we need. We need this degree of honesty. Speak to yourself, call out your faults, tell your friends, go home and say, look them right in the eye and say, let's make an agreement in our relationship. Can you please share with me? And I promise I won't react. I will do my best to sit and listen and hold a safe space for you to tell me exactly what you think of me. Right? All my faults, all my shortcomings that you've been too afraid to talk to me about, please tell me. And this is the agreement that I have with all of my friends and my 2 sons. That degree of earnest love. Remember that word earnest? Forgotten word, right? It's like honesty and love put together. Be earnest, and comes with integrity too. So this is the remedy, and nature is the remedy. Looking at ourselves in the mirror, good and proper, and also coming back home to our mother nature. Not living with sticks and stones, I'm not talking about that. There's a whole lot of technologies out there which are in complete harmony with our natural evolution, and technology that holds us in the highest of regard, not this malevolent technological intelligence we're dealing with right now on the planet, which is invading our planet and trying to assimilate the human race into its technological singularity, which is what all the things were about, all the nanotechnology in them. And I apologise for anyone who's had it. There's lots of really good remedies right now for people to detox out of their bodies. But the truth of the matter is, I came out in March 2020 and I talked about that in the US. And I showed all the slides. You can go to my website, you can watch it. It's called Navigating the Crown Virus. All about the nanotechnology and injections and what this whole Crown Virus thing was about, because it is a war between factions of the divine right to rule, which is under the premise of their deities, their gods that they worship. So their so-called divine right to rule over humanity and Earth. That's what the real war behind the scenes is about. Any more questions?
Is this divine right? Who are they exactly?
Who's this divine right? Are you talking about extraterrestrials or Earth people or what?
What I'm referring to are 5 minutes. Yep. Celestial entities, which you know as gods, and they come in very different names and different forms. A lot of them have cosmic persona interface modules, which people worship in this world, and it's a very sensitive subject. And again, I mean no disrespect, but I'm just delivering to you.
Where did they get the divine right idea from?
Because they pray to their gods, and then they see that as a divine experience, and they call it a divine right to rule. So when you look at the kings and the queens of our world, right? English royalty, for example, they sit upon a stone, and it's under their throne, and they go through this ritual to give them the divine right to rule. So it comes from their God. Yep. Yes. Was it someone else or no, you? I'll come to you next.
I like to call them the powers that were.
Yeah.
Because they're dummy.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, is it beautiful in powers at work?
The
Feels
powers,
good saying.
yeah, the powers that want to be, or the
Powers at work,
yeah.
not the elites, not the... Yeah, it's very empowering saying that, I feel. And another thing I'd like to ask is, when do you think the solar flash is going to happen? I'm looking forward to that. I'm thinking of it.
My mail is it's around between 2038 and 2044. Yeah. The solar flash. When the sun doesn't just birth, it farts big time. And the energy coming in from the galactic core goes to the core of the sun, and then goes to the core of the earth, and then comes to the core of our incarnations. And that is the umbilical cord, and that's the juice that comes through to change reality as part of evolution, natural evolution. 2038 to 2044, somewhere there's going to be a huge event. And oh right, so that lady's saying that her guides told her the same. Yeah. Okay, so it's coming in the near future. Different people have different ideas of the timing of it. I'm just staying with the one that I feel comfortable with. You go with whatever you feel comfortable with, yeah? It's just honouring everyone's soul journey. So I'm sharing information. Time's up. Oh, that lady was waiting before. Yeah? Okay. As we evolve, time changes. Correct. Correct. Yes. Yes. Good point.
I'm just wondering if the Arcturians are their own starseed race, or if the Arcturians are like a mixture of extraterrestrial light beings that form sort of like a galactic federation.
Both. Both. Every dimension, like our solar system, for example, you go into another dimension and there's planets that exist on this plane that don't exist in other planes. The only planet that exists in every single plane of existence, in all dimensions, universally speaking, is planet Earth. The only planet in the whole universe that does that. Begs the question, why? Right? So, the Arcturians are playing a big role. They have a fascination of how to interface economic collectives with consciousness. So to have a system of exchange which is mutually beneficial for all. And they're helping with the rebuilding. So there's a lot of what's called civilization builders here, and there are some groups that I mentor behind the scenes who are really big movers and shakers, right? So the Arcturians are here helping us as part of, they've got a lot of their people incarnated and they're civilization builders. That's what they're proficient at throughout the galaxy, right? So we need them right now, and they're helping us to build the next step in our evolution, because we've got these stages we're going through. Humanity is currently working out its relationship with the old world cabal, the banking industrialist families and their theocratic model. Then what we're in the throes of now is another layer, and that's what I call the technological intelligence God. It's not an artificial intelligence. It's actually a consciousness and intelligence that inhabits technology. And this whole galactic system structured this way, star systems, civilizations, they've all been assimilated into this God's imperial structure. And so we're dealing with the technological intelligence. That's why everyone's getting, with all the nanotechnology in them, which are now self-assembling in the bodies, and they're creating nodes. So everybody's becoming a node who had it, I didn't. They're becoming nodes inside the much larger. And I'm not saying anything weird. I mean, the World Economic Forum and all these people are publicly talking about what I'm talking to you about. That's what they're creating. So I'm not talking about anything strange, right? This is their agenda that you're involved in. So what they're doing is they're creating the Internet of Bodies, right? That's what they want to create. Yeah, if that helps. So the Arcturians are here to also help us with, helping that next layer of civilization. So in closing, because I'm assuming my time's up, in closing, I just want to say there's going to be a lot that's going to come out in the next little while. In fact, it's going to be crazy. Like, I mean, you thought COVID was bad, you ain't seen nothing yet.
I'm ready.
Yeah, beautiful. You said that with so much conviction. Beautiful. She's like, I'm ready. Right? Yeah. So, what I want to say to you is, inside of you, in your soul, is what's real. Okay? Yes, there is a extent of reality to our outer world, of course. There's a reality to it. I don't see this as an illusion. This is not an illusion. This is not a dream. This is not a computer simulation. This is all the cosmopolitical narratives to diminish Mother Earth and humanity. Okay? Who and what we are is the biggest secret that's been kept from everybody. With all the travels that I've had, all the beings out there hold us in the highest of regard. I'm talking about a healthy reverence, right? Because they know who we are. And it's them incarnated into this human form, because what these vessels are designed to do, the most powerful crucible of alchemy in the universe. Yeah? And the beings that are coming here and forwarding all these narratives and these agendas are doing it because they are terrified of you. And they have this insane lust to subjugate and control all of us because of their fear and their terror. Because there's babies being born in this world because of our natural structure that have access to more life force and more power than any God. And I mean any God. Okay? So once you're under, I'm going to say one last thing and I'll leave. There is the natural prime creator and intelligence of this universe. And then there's the God of religions. And they're two different things. And the moment you work that out, everything's going to open up for you and reality will start to emerge from within you. Thank you. I love you unconditionally. I think I really